Michelle Wee was born on October 11, 1989. Her parents are from South Korea. They like to golf. Michelle began playing golf when she was 4 years old. She became a strong golfer at 10 years old. Michelle became the youngest amateur golfer in the United States Golf Association in 2002. Michelle won the Hawaii State Women's Open. Over the next 3 years, she won more amateur tournaments. The next year, Michelle won the Canadian Women's Open. Michelle continued practicing to become a better golfer. She won more tournaments. In 2014, she won the U.S. Women's Open. It was her first major title.
This shout out comes from Mrs. Ellis to Mr. Frenzen and Mrs. Crandall. Shout out for teaming up with me this year to lead grade level meetings. It was a lot of fun working with you guys, and I really appreciate you. Mrs. Ellis also shouts out to her 7-8 period block during SBA testing last week. You were hard workers, respectful of others' needs for quiet, and fun to hang out with once testing was done. From Mrs. Lee, she has a shout out to her 7th and 8th period. Thank you so much for doing your best on your SBA tests. It was 3 hours each day and an additional 40 minutes at the end of the day, but you rocked. It was a pleasure to have you during testing. Brenda, Sama, and Aya all sent in shout outs to one another. Their friendship means a ton to each of them. Mrs. Harper has a shout out for her 8th period class who worked so hard on their SBA test the last 2 weeks. Mrs. Stadelman has a few. She wants to make a shout out to all of her students this week, specifically first and second hour for your kindness to each other and always starting my day off with a smile. Her 5th and 6th hour for your respectful behavior with Mrs. Kim while I was out. It means the world to me. To her 7th and 8th hour for your behavior during the math SBA test. I'm so thankful for the improvements I've seen in you lately. And a special shout out to my 7th and 8th graders who still come by to see me. I miss having you in class. From Mrs. Escamilla, she has a shout out to all my classes for working hard, even after MAP and SBA testing. I am so proud of your endurance and determination to end the year strong, she says. Mrs. Sweeney has a shout out to Giselle. Great job to everybody who got a shout out this week. There are only 2 more weeks to get your shout outs in. So if you have a staff member or student that you want to shout out to tell them how much you appreciate what they're doing, make sure you let us know. A glass of water. A psychologist was teaching stress management to an audience. She raised a cup of water and asked everyone, "How heavy do you think this glass of water is?" Expecting another half full, half empty question, the crowd gave various answers. "Well," she said, "the absolute weight doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold it. A minute won't be a problem. After an hour, I might feel a dull ache. If I hold it a day, my arm would feel paralyzed. But the weight of the water never changed. The longer I hold it, the heavier it felt. The stresses and worries of our life are just like this cup of water. Think about them for a while. Nothing happens. Think about them longer, and it starts to hurt. Think about them all day, and you'll feel paralyzed and helpless. Learn to put the glass down. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We care about you. Come, talk, and put your glass down. Visit your school counselor or talk with your trusted adult. We will put our glass down too.